I want to just be a light in the dark. I want to be the heat when you're cold. I want to be that inspiration when it's not there. Just want to show that whatever you're going through in life, transmit it into that story that you have. When we carry these acknowledgments, like you said, just calling on your angels, they're there. So I embed that energy in my fabrics. Everything that I do has intention, has meaning.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to another expansive episode of Liberate Your Bliss podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea, and today we're journeying into a world where spirit and style collide, where the threads that we wear become an expression of our awakening. My guest today is the phenomenal Lavi, and he's a visionary fashion designer whose creations are not born from trend or commerce, but from ceremony, spirit, and soul. And in an ayahuasca journey, Lavi received downloads that ignited his path, awakening not only his creativity, but his entire being. From those visions, his clothing line was born, a line that carries the vibration of courage, healing, and divine expression. In our conversation, we'll dive into his awakening journey, the power of creation energy, and how fashion can become a sacred vessel, a way to embody the soul, not just the body. And Lavi's got this amazing fashion show coming up called Road to Galante. It's actually this weekend. So for those of you in Bali, get your tickets. He's been featured in Milan as well as in Miami, and he's about to take the stage in Bali again. Let's get started. All right, so big things coming up for you.
Yes.
Big things. 5th generation book of Lavi. So how did this all get started?
Well, it started here in Bali from the Rebirth collection. This was pivotal times in the midst of COVID, where I found myself from Shanghai in the midst of it to being here in Bali during the pandemic. So I kind of created these collections just to bring the world together and just express my, empath of the things going around me. I created this journey where it was from the origin, which was the beginning, bringing everything together. I have monuments, and from all over the world, the fabrics were black and white, so everyone could kind of correlate, and just bringing the world together through fabrics, through this particular fabric. So the origin was something special that I created here in Bali. That was kind of like my debut here to be known as a designer and what I do. From there, we generated a lot of buzz, creations. I was just in this whole creative vortex. It was the sense of rebirth. So the rebirth is the first chapter of my collection book chapter series of the Book of Lavi.
And we're already at chapter 5.
Wow.
How amazing is that?
I know, it's I couldn't make this up. This is something that I really just kind of stepped back and realized how this divine alignment and just accolades in my life just put in perspective. It's been a journey. It's been since pretty much 5 years, or 4 to 5 years.
So are you doing a collection every year?
For the book, yes. But I do many other like subways, little things like that, just to express what I'm going through. And not only that, but it's always a collaboration that I'm doing. There might be a limited collection series that I'll release. But more or less, the book is something that calls me, and it brings a call to action.
It's amazing. And this fit is amazing.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that. So this is going to be highlighted in the fashion show, which is coming up, you guys, that are watching this. This is going to be in Bali on September 21st.
Yes.
For anybody that's interested in coming. What really brought me to wanting you on this is that every ounce of this creative flow in fashion designing and in creating this has come from your spiritual journey.
True.
And I think that that's something very profound in a world where so many of us are hiding our true selves and aren't authentic.
Yeah.
And how much more authentic can you be with how you dress yourself?
Exactly.
Right? So how did you get here?
I'm a spiritual being in a material world. How else will we gravitate a message without seeing first impressions? I wear my fashion as cloaks. From the Rebirth to Leviticus, the early scriptures of the Bibles. It was kind of like my testament of me going through some dark times, which allowed me to be protected and, tap into the divine in a material, physical realm. But September 21st, Galante Fashion Show. This is the divine ascension. So from the Rebirth to Leviticus to Prometheus to Lavi Jordan to Galante. Galante came to me as, gallant. It's a heroism. It's overcoming its strength, power, endurance, resilience. And that's everything that accumulated within these chapters and came to be. Galante represents, I have the horse, really showing the power of just endurance itself. It's a real spiritual animal. It's kind of like within these chapters, I have spirit guides. From the rebirth, it was just natural tones of just a seed just sprouting, really just that grounding moment, to the Leviticus, which was more or less like the spiritual realm of the divine protection. That was symbolized by a jaguar, So the jaguar was kind of my protector through that journey, along with some archetypes like Saint Michael, Angel Jafil. And I didn't discover this until I had my first ayahuasca ceremony. It was pretty insane. If you love to hear it,
I would love to.
It brings me chills every time. I actually booked my trip to Peru. I was really eager to, meet her.
She's sitting on my altar right now. I'm working with her every single night. With a drop in my tea.
Wow.
Every night I sit
That's
with her.
incredible.
So I'm trying to merge with her spirit.
Yes.
And Mama Jaguar, just so that you know, she is the guardian of that spiritual realm in the West. So you're working in the West energy with the water.
Talk to me.
So so when we work with Mama Jaguar, she is protecting you to go deeper into the darkness. And in the darkness is in the void is creation. So when we're in that voidal space, right, we're able to see without the light having touched anything what we want to create, because creation doesn't come from something that's already been touched by light. It comes in the stillness and in the darkness, which is where ayahuasca will bring you. So when you went there, what did she show you? Wow.
Coming back from this, the rebirth Leviticus, this was, like I said, a dark time for me. There was a lot of things kind of just put against me that I had to really cleanse. This was after, maybe a couple months after the Leviticus. Just was going in with full intent of just like surrender of like what this all means.
What were you going through? Can you share a little bit about it?
Oh man, like I was actually in Bali. I was going through some times. I had to move my family back home. My mother, she had to move. Nobody was really there to help her. And I just got a relationship in the rebirth. And she was kind of like haunting, So I just was like, all right, this is the rebirth. So I created the rebirth collection. It was powerful. It was a statement. And then from there, I was like, okay, I need to like a full cleanse alignment. And it was literally a rebirth, From me going back home, helping my mom pack up and move, actually driving her down to South Florida, settling her in. And then from there, me and my family, my cousins, like just a guy's trip to Puerto Rico, where my origins. And then from there, I came back to work, and which was the Leviticus. And this was kind of like a pivotal time for me to transform those energies, to kind of bring it to awareness.
Yeah.
So to get a deeper understanding with Aya, I didn't end up going to Peru. There was riots. There was a lot of things going on. I paid for my retreat and everything. So I'm like, okay, she'll call me. And she did. My realtor at the moment, he was from Peru. And I told him about this journey. And he was like, okay, join us. He's an alchemist in this realm of alchemy, which we experience every day. I found myself there weeks prior to IO. And we're basically doing my charts, my symbols and everything. So he called on Jafil as my protector, which is citrine, which I carry around with me every day. I was like, okay, from my troubles and my traumas, I'm thinking I'm gonna see some shit. I might experience like this war that I have within my head and this realm, that I can't see. So I take my crystals, my sage, my notepad, my drawing pad. I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm ready. So boom, everybody takes their first dose. It's this huge mansion in Boca, Florida. We're all in the backyard, maybe about 7 of us, female, male, old, young. And we all took our first dose. I'm like grounding myself. I'm feeling the grass. And I haven't felt anything. So it's people are purging. I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling anything at this moment. So the shaman at the moment gave me some capsules, some microdose. So I'm like, okay, 15 minutes, I should feel something. 15 minutes passed by, nothing. I guess I was just full intent and so ready. I still didn't feel anything. I look at my partner, my realtor, my friend, and he's like, he's feeling it. He's fully submerged. I'm like, okay. I'm like, breath work, like really trying to get into it, you know? I'm like, sir, like, shaman, like, I'm not feeling it. So he's like, all right, take another dose. So about 3 times the dose. I go back, the sun's setting, we start the fire. I sit down next to the fire. Day gets darker, the sun sets, the fire brights, it more ignites. I just went deep. Boom. From there, this gold vortex just funneled around me, literally just like this color, just gold aura, just spinning around me. And then I look up and it's this woman pouring a veil of gold down my throat. Literally a streamline through my blood to my toes. I just feel illuminated. Like from that moment, I was just like in euphoria. Everybody around me feels it. You know, everyone's laughing. I started laughing. I'm like, you know, full like incredible feeling. And everyone around me started feeling those presents. And, you know, Jafil is a bringer of gifts, of arts and entertainment. So it kind of made sense, you know. She was the protector of the good and evil, which fought with Saint Michael. You know, through this whole journey, I thought Saint Michael was with me. You know, come to find out, I was with him. It was insane.
I bet Michael was there too.
Of course.
He's always there.
It was incredible. And like just through that whole journey, shaman just kind of tells us, you know, the gates of Inferno, da 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 da. And like I just feel like this protection. He's like, call on your angels, boom. I just feel this gold aura around me.
Isn't it amazing that all we have to do is call them in?
Literally.
I think that's like the craziest part. You know, we have free will in this experience. If you want to go at it with your ego and you want to, you know, just be your human self, go for it.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, Archangel Michael, be with me right now. Boom.
Seriously.
And it's like in that instant. But I think because we've gotten so disconnected from our spirit, we think we have to go at this all alone. In reality, like the human experience is showing us, like, so you're going through this breakup, right? You lose the girl or whatever, you're separated, and then everything with your mom. And there's all of this, you know, chaos happening. And it's like the big fear is that we're going to end up alone. And like, what is that going to look like? And then in the alone is that.
That's when you really find yourself and find
that's it.
Your army. Like
the real army.
Yes. It's divine intervention. You know, it's literally a spiritual realm, you know, that we walk in. And people are so oblivious to it all, to where all it takes is, like you said, just to call on this spiritual guides. And it's phenomenal.
So tell me about this 5th chapter then, and how this has come to be. Who's been the spirit guide for this one?
So yeah, this here, like I said, it's the horse. It's a stallion. It's, you know, some magical,
so
mystical
being.
Yes. This one's empowering. I'm seeing like Vikings, like true, like ascension to the divine. You know, so I really want to bring that forth with just kind of empowering of that ascension from the past collections. You know, it's all a divine intervention from each accolade of the chapter. So I really want to just show and kind of just maybe close this chapter as in, you know, the spirits and the alignment of just human creation, of just nature and what we go through daily. You know, whether it is that breakup, whether it's something that you have to do and sacrifice for the better of good, you know, the Prometheus story, you know, from Zeus giving light and electricity to mankind being punished for eternity. You know, these are the things that we go through in life that we have to, you know, realize and have amends for those things.
So would this chapter be almost like the rebirth again in a different way, but the spiritual
It's
aspect
kind of like
of
the
it?
reborn.
The
Right?
reborn, right?
Yes.
And it's very interesting. So in the medicine wheel, and you're talking with spirit guides, so you're working shamanically. Ayahuasca is shamanic.
Yes.
Everything is, a part of that experience. And
Yeah, straight alchemy.
alchemy, it's all there. So
light to
alchemy
dark,
can
dark to
only
light.
happen when there's heat. And alchemy is the merging of the masculine, feminine within. We believe we have to be one or the other, but in reality, we want to be balanced in both. And when heat is present or conflict, issues with partners, mom, that is an opportunity for alchemization within. If we can go in and do the inner work, whether that's through ayahuasca, through meditation, through sound, whatever it is that's your way of working with the divine. There's infinite ways, you guys. Like, I don't necessarily do plant medicine all the time anymore. I've gotten there and I don't need to go there a million times. It's a little too much for my nervous system.
True.
But it's like, oh, there's heat here. There's conflict here. There's something to work with.
Yeah.
Because anything that's going on in conflict is a mirror showing you that you have an ascension pathway. It's a door to walk. And are you going to run from that door? Or are you going to run through that door?
Right.
And through that door is the darkness, is that Leviticus.
That we all have to face.
And you have to face it. You got to look at it. You got to bring it to light. And then you come in. So that's the west. Then you come into the north. And the north is all about integration. It's like, how can I now walk and embody that which I just learned in the fire and in the water.
And then you interpret that.
And then you interpret that, and then into the east, we come into the eagle, and the eagle is creation. So it's almost like every time you're coming up to a conflict, or you're coming up to some personal battle or struggle, this is the level up. This is the beginning.
This is
it's
the
not
breakthrough.
The end. It's the breakthrough.
It's the breakthrough.
And it's go into the voidal space, and in that time, it may feel like you can't create. And I don't know if you've ever had this, roadblocks where it's like, I'm in the middle of it and I haven't received the knowledge yet, but I'm in it. And that's really fucking frustrating because I want to create that thing and I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in that now. And it's like, can you be where you are and unconditionally love this chapter? Because the north and the east is coming, and that's when we take action.
Yes.
So it's like, it's this part of the journey is it's like being in a washing machine.
Literally, it's a threshold of just breaking through that realm. It's literally a portal to evolvement, and that's something that people need to embrace. Those dark times, take advantage of that. Those times alone. My first time where I was really like down, I didn't quite understand it. But it's something that we all go through. And if you understand it and really tap into it, you'll find the light and show the way that you need to proceed.
And what you said really was beautiful before about your ayahuasca journey. I want to really highlight that is that the gold light poured in through me from spirit. I received it, and everyone noticed.
Yes.
Right? You didn't have to do anything.
Nothing.
You just got to
just
be.
receive, literally.
And then through receiving, allowing others to experience that light. And I think a lot of us in the spiritual world in the beginning, when we start to tap into these things, we believe we have to be almost a martyr and serve the whole world. When in reality, when you serve you and your spirit, that's enough.
Exactly.
And I think it's beautiful that you're sharing that through like art with fashion.
Of course.
Was this always something you loved?
This is how I give back to my, blessings and the divine. This is my gifts that I inherit, to give to the world, to show that this is a spiritual realm, a divine connection. This is a divine being. When we carry these acknowledgments, like you said, just calling on your angels, they're there. So I embed that energy in my fabrics. Everything that I do has intention, has meaning. And it's like you said, when you have that roadblock, that writer's block, that's when you need to seek inspiration. Go to a gallery, explore, see nature, do some healing. And those, exactly. Just feel these chapters, these names, these are things I really didn't come up with. They just kind of formulated, and it was kind of like a code that just really showed itself. And from there, once you really tap into those, those codes, it becomes much easier to process and create from there.
And then everything that we do carries a frequency, every thought, every emotion,
100%.
and our fabrics that we choose to wear.
Yes.
So if you're working and you're wearing an inspirational line, and that's how you're showing yourself to the world, you're connecting in with the frequency. It's the same thing as like ceremonial cacao, right? Life is a ceremony. And if you're going to drink cacao, drink ceremonial cacao, because those plants, that they were planted with love, they were treated with love all the way up through harvest, because there was a ceremony involved. And there's a ceremony happening with your line.
100%. And that's one thing about these shows that I do. It's literally a ceremony. It's something quite fascinating. The energy and the feedback that I get from each collection, it resembles that. You know, from the Leviticus show that I've done in New York and Miami. You know, I actually, for the show in New York, it was a debut of Leviticus. And I had these 2 children come model for my show cast. I'm like, wow, they look like angels. You know, I could do something with this. So I had her brother dressed in all black with red eyes, like flashing. I had the girl laying on the tip of the runway with the cover of the fabrics, Leviticus, which has protection Bible scriptures all over, with the jaguar, with the gold leaves and Saint Michael on it. It was truly a masterpiece. And the beginning of the show, everything was dark. As the music plays, the nightmare, the shadow monster comes out, whatever you want to call it. And then as he gets close to the innocent angel sleeping, the music comes on, the lights brighten, the clouds, backdrops, LEDs illuminate gold. The angel comes out with gold wings, just really representing that Saint Michael. But in reality, it was Jafil, because it was a woman in all gold, which I experienced post of my Aya trip.
How amazing.
And like from there, I was just like, wow, okay, this is real. This is real. You know, everything from the Prometheus that I debuted in Milan. I had models come out with gold tiers. You could see gold and silver brocade fabrics with mesh, as if it was Prometheus being tormented by eagles in his stomach for eternity. I had mesh, like if the fabrics were peeled. You know, from that and the music, from the entrance of that show, we had white flowers come out with one of my models wearing a white embroidered flower suit. And he came out with white roses on fire. Literally just came out on fire, let it release, and just walked off. And that was just a symbol of, how would I say it, of just forgiveness. You know, this was kind of like me telling Prometheus stories of just forgiveness, of what he's done for the betterment of mankind and for those he loved. The feedback I got after that show was incredible. I had art collectors and specifically these 2 old ladies coming up to me, and they were crying. They were like, this is amazing, bellissimo, bellissimo. I was like, oh my God, like that right there was all I needed. Every story really embeds, you know, everything down to the models. They're the spirits of my clothes. This is just their skin and their cloaks. And it's phenomenal. As we get to the Galante collection, it's the road to Galante. It hasn't been easy this far. I salute every business here in Bali, like, because there's a lot of things that you must go through and, you know, have to establish. Of course, this is the jungle. You know, this is the laws of the jungle that you have to abide by. And when you establish this, it becomes a great power. And this is the Galante. This is the road to Galante, the divine ascension of the accolades of the chapter series of Forever Lavi. This is the divine ascension. This is what it all accumulates and what it all means.
And how cool is it to be able to be artistic in the way of how you're designing your show, the messaging, all of it that goes into the fabric on top of the colors and everything, right?
Yes,
that brings it all together.
The colors are everything.
What is it like being in that creative spirit as a man?
I mean, as far as creation, you know, you really have to balance feminism and masculinity. You know, you have to really tap into emotions. You know, you have to be alone. You have to create your energy space. You have to create this vortex with just this inspirations around you that's going to make your path much clearer to create. You know, everything down to the psychology of colors, that I used for these collections. Leviticus was red, empowering golds, because that was, a war. Rebirth was natural tones, greens, nature. Prometheus was bright golds, blacks, silvers, thunder. Lavi Jardin was nature, just a protection of the flowers and, the fruit of the labor. That's what Lavi Jardin was. So now, as we get into Galante, it's more or less those luminescence of blues, hues, of silvers, it's whites, kind of just like a galactic palette, of just luminance. So you're going to be seeing a lot of brocade, a lot of jewels, shine. This is going to be a haute couture. This is going to be some of my best work that I've done this far. And
Elegance.
I'm excited. Yes, it's going to be elegance, sophisticated elegance at its finest.
And you said that your big motto, what you said to
Oh,
me
yes.
earlier, I love it so much.
So growing up, when I created this brand, Forever Lavi.
How old were you, by the way?
I mean, my first debut show in New York was 2018. It's definitely like a past life, it feels like. I was always an artist. This is a skill that I developed throughout time. This is just me tapping into my past lives and those around me to really just kind of figure out my purpose and what I'm here to do and to serve.
Yeah, because it's programmed with art that you can't
Yes.
make money,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's like really important. A lot of us grow up as kids and we're very creative,
Yeah.
and we're told perform, achieve. And a lot of people that come to my sessions, they'll be like, wow, I used to love to create and I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So what was that like, like for you when you got that purpose of what you said?
I mean, the more I put into my art, the more I get. No matter what I do, if I don't create, I'm just depressed. I can't move. As long as I create, doors will open for me. And that's affirmative action. Like I said, when I create, I'm giving back to those gifts that were gifted to me. For that purpose, I'm connecting and in service with others. I have my fashion house. We create brands. We set up opportunities for models and people that want to tap into this creativity that they have that they lost sight of. So that is that connection that we host. From the beginning, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what to do. I was doing everything. And I took that leap of faith and went overseas and created this whole realm of creation that just opened doors for me sporadically. I'm just like, wow, okay, as long as I create, things will happen. And it's exciting, So it's like I have this huge dream, this whole path of, the book is just the beginning, it could evolve to a chapter series on Netflix. It could be a movie, it could be a Broadway play in New York, So these are so many things that we can tap into and also give back and apply that creative realm for others to really tap into their purpose.
Tapping into unconditional,
Yes.
right? Unconditional love and
Yes.
unconditional experiences and the infinite opportunities that come. It's not just one way, but when we do what we love.
Yes. And to answer your question, it is the luxury within self-riches.
I love it. The luxury within self-riches.
To live luxurious within self-riches. And that's what it really comes down to. It's not the material world. It's not about the car, the house. That we're in Bali because we're past that. We broke the matrix.
Oh, thank fuck.
I'm from originally from Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm
I
surrounded.
didn't know you were a New Englander too.
Well,
Ish.
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Northeast.
Northeast,
Sure. No, I love it. It's the most humble, grounding place I ever experienced.
And did you grow up very Christian?
I grew up wild. It was a small city, and all we saw was valleys around us. Growing up, I always wanted to know what is over these hills, And once I discovered that, I just realized how far I can go from there. So the perspective got bigger.
And how did your Christian faith come in?
My Christian faith came in, I would say my grandma really put it heavily on me. From there, I mean, we pray every night. Growing up, me and my mother, we pray, we go to church. When those times I was lost or needed some guidance, it really helped me out. And it showed throughout my art and my journeys as long as I stay connected, there'll be a plan for me.
It's so amazing.
Yeah,
A divine plan.
it's incredible. It's like you think about it, but you don't know exactly. So it's like it brings the curiosity, it brings the excitement to know more.
The mystery. The great mystery.
Of course, you gotta have
Were
mystery.
you a different kind of kid, being so creative? Were you always interested in fashion, or just the way you dressed, or how did it all start?
I mean, growing up, my father drew everything that I pointed at.
Okay.
That was a big inspiration. He painted cars. He had his auto body shop. I would see him, create these amazing vehicles from scratch, flames, murals of my mom under his hood on his 76 Corvette Stingray, just me and him driving to car shows, coming back with trophies. So the creativity and the limelight was kind of there, the performance level. I done a lot of football, a lot of sports growing up, karate, boxing, so that was my path. That's what I thought, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna do sports. And then things got out of hand in a small city. So my mother moved me to Miami, and that's when it just, okay, I don't know anyone, I don't know any sports, this is a fresh start for me. So let me turn into my art, and growing up, I realized all those material things and all those things can be taken away. So one thing that kind of stayed with me and that can no longer be taken away is my art. And no matter what you have, no matter where you go, you will always have your art. And no one can ever take that away from me.
Can you sew too?
I can, yeah, of course.
That's amazing.
So I've specialized in couture. So when it comes to the final production, I would actually add the finished embellishments, which brings like that extra boom, and even down to the fabrics here, all of this is handcrafted digitally. So you wouldn't be able to find this fabric anywhere else in the world unless it came from the factory.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and yeah, it brings that signature, that feel,
And it's like you're creating this expression where we almost get to wear how we feel. And actually so whatever chapter you're in your life,
exactly.
there's a
meaning for that.
A meaning for what
there's a
you're
cloak
wearing.
for that.
Because I remember somebody asked me one time, they were like, why do you always wear black? And I'm like, why do I always wear black? And I was like, wow, I'm pretty deep in my shadow work.
True.
Right?
True.
And I'm like, and I'm not even conscious about what I'm choosing to wear, right? I'm stepping more outward now.
Exactly.
I'm in white. And it's interesting because it's like, if we could be in tune with consciously, like, what are we putting on every day? How are you showing yourself to the world? Is it in the place that you want to, you want to be in? Do you want to be seen? You've got to have Leo in you. Do you have Leo in your chart?
My father's a Leo.
Okay.
My rising is a Libra.
Okay.
So, and then I'm Sagittarius as well.
Okay.
So it's a real balanced chart.
That is good.
So I kind of tap into all modes. My mother's a Gemini. So, I'm an empath, but still like grounded.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And empowering. But
and for the Galante line, what was your inspiration for that? Like, was there a muse? Was there any sort of pain you were going through? Or was there more of like this, I'm stepping the fuck up energy?
Yeah. I mean, even with the people and the collaborations that approached me for my next collection and my next show, I was just getting stories from everyone around me, and even just the power in the world. It was just a divine extension that we're all going through as a whole. A holistic whole.
More the collective.
Think about it, from the technology to, diplomacy. Everything is reaching that extension, where you're gonna take it. And I had people approach me, they want to step into their power and they want to be a part of this collection. So I took that initiative. I was just like, yeah, I feel you. I resonate with this. The world needs this. This is truly a time for everyone to really step into the divine power and realize no matter what happens, you are not alone.
And you'll always have your art.
Yes, and you would always have your art. Art is everything. Art is music. Art is poetry. Art is art. It's everything. It's literally just expression. It's just a form of being. It's the way you represent yourself, the way you present.
And I think you can look at it like with AI right now, right? A lot of people are saying like, oh, I'm really worried that my job's going to get taken away. And I'm like, well, if your job is getting taken away by AI, is that really the job that you want?
Exactly.
Or is this a job that you had to do to survive? And what if AI was really being created to separate us from any of the bullshit jobs we never wanted to do anyways, to create space for a society filled with light work and art?
Beautiful way to put it.
That's how I'm looking at it now, because before I was looking at it out of this lens of
just
like
fear and
and look at this, what is happening? And it's like, no, look at this as an opportunity.
True. It is.
For me, it's a
tool.
I'm able to channel my writing. I can take all those words that you know what it's like to channel. It all comes in and you're like, how the hell do I make sense of this?
Oh, man.
And then just throw it into my...
Right.
And then it's like, this is what you meant. And I read it and I'm like, that's exactly what I meant.
Seriously.
Right?
Seriously.
And it's like, no, I'm not cheating. I'm actually using this gift from God, from the divine, to make it easier for me to sit and channel.
It's incredible, you know, and there's so many perspectives on it, and I believe they're all true.
Of course, everything is true. That's the thing. But what is your truth?
Exactly.
And whatever your truth is your reality.
It's how you create it.
Yeah. So if you want to believe that everything's scary, AI is coming to get you, the government's imploding, then watch your life be like a horror show. Or
use this to your advantage. Yes,
you know,
the divine
ascension. And I'm going to step into that. I'm going to step into my power. I'm going to find my light. I'm going to create.
Yes.
And watch what that does.
Exactly.
Opportunity, door open.
It's a feeling, you know. This is something that technology can't do. It is accolades of life. I mean, just think about since the beginning of time, you know, it's just a divine ascension through accolades of mankind to technology. So
it's crazy.
Who would know in the next 1,000 years, you know, maybe ChatGPT's taking our conscious to create the new world, you know?
Can you imagine? It's crazy.
It's insane.
That blows my mind.
Yeah,
but you know why? Because what they say about ascension is there's no rush. The mystery, the great mystery. It's like you said, it's in those moments with Mama Jaguar when maybe what you're creating right now isn't optimal. But you got to be able to look at that when the tower starts crumbling, and I always compare it to this moment, everything starts falling apart. It's actually not falling apart. It's falling in place. But we've got to let go of the things we've created that are out of alignment with that next plan.
Yeah.
And that can be painful if you can't master the art of letting go.
Yeah.
Of just recognizing this wasn't meant for me.
It's so liberating.
And then once you start to just surrender into, all right, I'm going to let it go. I trust.
True.
I'm going to trust that this wasn't meant for me.
Exactly.
Boom, door opens.
Exactly.
But if we're holding on, like, why isn't this working? I'm going to put more energy into it.
Yeah. And that's part of life, you know. And one of my other quotes is, you know, forever fly. You know, forever fly is flying above those troubles, those, you know, the norm, just realizing that, you know, you're above this all to reach that destination.
And that's east energy, just so that you know, if you're working shamanically.
East.
Because east is the eagle rises above the chaos and the drama to the highest vantage point to see the infinite opportunities. Yeah, there we go.
Forever fly.
And it's so funny, right? And it's just all about there are infinite opportunities that this can go. Yeah. You can choose whatever you want. It's up to you. Yeah. But if you don't like what you're creating, you're going to be stagnant and just stuck. That's your choice. Yeah. It's no one. But some people are comfortable there. That's fine. The NPCs, I call them. That's fine. That's fine. Just don't interfere, you know, but I love you. I love you. And hopefully you could take some messages for what, you know, I'm doing and setting an example for. Yeah, you know, my family anyone in my family have never went overseas and we're doing what I'm doing. So it's like, before it was that fear, like, what are you doing, da, 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 da. But now they see me, you know, succeeding, prevailing. They're like, okay, keep doing your thing. Have they come to your fashion shows? Oh, yeah. I mean, abroad, no. No, but the ones. But of course. I always bring it back home for my day ones and my core team. So that's something that I really take passionate about. So I'll do the high-end runway looks, and then I'll do my creative immersive experience to where it's like, you know, for the day ones, and I bring all the artists in and we do a whole like Broadway play. It's incredible. So awesome. So when is that planned for? So, I mean, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to do that immersive experience in Bali. And then we're actually going to take it to either Dubai or Paris Fashion Week in November or October. And that's going to be the high-end runway experience. Hell yeah. Yeah. So what's it like preparing for this show?
It's exciting. It's
Where do you do it?
So I have a factory here. We have many employees. We do products for, Nirvana. We do tote bags, uniforms. So I have my station and my time frame of when things need to be done. But everything is usually at home. I sleep where I work. So it's like my vision board, my mannequin, I drape fabrics, I complete it, I take it back to the factory, we get it done. We fix, it's a process. I'm looking at about 30 to 40 pieces for this collection.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's incredible. I'm working with Centra Moda. They're actually one of my partners. So literally gave me the green light to go in the fabric store and choose whatever I need and want. And that was just like euphoria, kid in a candy shop. So that, those were that divine callings. These are those things that show me that this is meant to be. These are these accolades that you have to go through and show that people got you. They believe in you, and just know that these angels are in place for you to continue. No matter what trials and tribulations you go through, some people might not see the vision and doubt it, but yet these people are the fuel to that flame, and these are the people you do it for. Because eventually those people would then turn into believers and be like, wow, and, like
So
you
did
said.
you have any moments where people did shut down the vision and you had that, oh, I'm not good enough, or this isn't going to work out? Did that ever happen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, especially going to a new country. I'm well established in the States. If I wanted to do something tomorrow, I'll have the whole city come out, rather than you have to show and prove in other countries and things like that without a proper PR strategy and, funds in place. But yeah, people also near-minded, and they don't see the vision of fashion or what it could bring, the value that it could bring. So that's what I experienced in Bali. People are really focused on just the party aspect,
Oh, yeah.
But when we do these monuments and these things, everybody then wants to be a part of it because it's something different.
It's really interesting because you also have that brand here that you do for kind of the party scene right now. And it's so beautiful then because you're giving people what they want. But in the end, there's an experience happening that you're almost bringing them to a deeper level of their subconscious.
Yes.
By building the network in a way that feels safe to them first, right? Because most people would say like, oh, I'm not going to show up to a fashion show. Yeah, I'm going to go to Savaya.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to Savaya the next night,
Or yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love
like
Savaya.
It's a whole experience.
That's a whole experience too. And I'm going to connect with these people, but I'm just going to show you that there is another layer to me.
Yeah.
And to this world.
And that's really how, when you see my Instagram, my website, when you Google me, you'll see more or less the fashion and the art side of it all. The party scene just kind of just like, that's part of it. That's part of the fashion lifestyle. When you have a show, you have to have a celebrity, a celebration.
Yeah, of course.
You have to celebrate your success, and you have to give back to that. It's an energy cycle, and it's something like you said, the frequency, with music, with social experiments, these are gonna heighten that intuition, that manifestation, that frequency for you to actually reach closer to that goal, and those are the reasons I go out. I get inspired. The people I meet, the people I talk to, what people are wearing. This is all part of the process. It's all part of the creation. And this is all what I'm funneling into that grand stage, and then from there we rejoice, we celebrate each other. And it's literally, like you said, it's a ceremony of tribes.
Yeah, and bringing people together through different lenses than what we think, And I think another big part of what's going on in this world right now is we think we're more separate than we are. unified. And we need to
Yeah.
remember that everyone can
We're-
celebrate. Everyone goes through grief. Everyone's got
Yes.
pain. We've all felt separate from
Mhm.
something. We've all felt rejection, abandonment,
Yeah,
unworthiness.
it's part of life.
It's a
That's what
part of the
makes
game.
us. Those are the layers that create us, you
And
know.
through that lens of, you know what, maybe if I could connect in a different way and not feel so separate from that, we could create way more ceremony in this experience and make it not so fucking hard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're all creatives. We just need the outsource to channel it through, you know.
I'm a writer, so I'm actually finishing my book.
Exactly.
And it's like I'm reading it, I'm like, fuck man, like maybe this wasn't even ever about me becoming a healer. Maybe it was just about the story.
Yeah.
And maybe it's all opening up in a different way, because when I feel the most connected, of course, I love healing and I love doing it all, but like when I am like channeling and receiving and writing, I feel that gold light.
Yes, that purpose.
Yeah.
You know, that's the journey within that we all experience.
But it's the creation of
Yeah.
letting all of that energy come into something, right? And you know, and I've got my teacher program and all these things, but it's like all of that is
Yes.
creating this,
It's
right?
it's all a karmic cycle. It's all energy, you know, currency. You know, that makes us rich within.
Who's your biggest inspiration for a fashion designer that you like that actually channels things like this?
I wouldn't even necessarily categorize me as a designer. I'm more of like, I don't know. I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I'm a philosopher. I'm just interpretation of art.
So
and the
who would be
divine.
like Shakespeare?
Shakespeare's incredible, you know, but the book I'm reading right now, it's The Art of Living. It has some keynotes that I take from, you know. As far as inspiration and idols, I really don't look out.
So that's the answer.
I don't look out.
You answered the question correctly. The
Yeah.
inspiration is you.
Exactly. Like, it's hard when people ask me who do I look up to, and you know, there's people that I admire, but you know, that I follow or anything like that. I'm in my own realm, my own life
Well, I think
form,
when
my
you
own
turn
path.
into spirit, right? When you've merged into the spiritual realm, anything outside of that,
Yeah, it's just
it's
interference.
just it's noise.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for me, like inspiration is Archangel Michael.
yeah,
Like it's the inspiration is what comes in through
yeah.
that deep dark place within me and that
Yeah.
stillness when I can
My
receive.
my journey, my past works is my inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, I look back and realize, wow, this was here. You know, and this what creates the next project. It's really your divine being, you know, and tapping into those callings.
How are you going to celebrate the Galante launch?
Well, we're actually working with an orphanage, and I want to do some give backs, and I want to take, you know, some kids to horseback riding.
That's amazing.
But personally, I'll probably take a trip somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say
For sure.
take some time
For
away.
sure.
And just
So,
be-
but I mean, once the show is done, that's when the work begins.
yeah, because
One
it's the
thing
new
about
creation.
fashion, it just never stops. It never stops. And people see this lifestyle, this glamour, this and that, but in reality, this is late nights, no sleep. This is like, like you have a job to do, but yet you need to tap into your creation and create. People don't understand there's like multiple components that you're tapping into,
And they're very different.
Yes.
So like creation points for you. How do you tap into that? What's your method?
Yeah, so I usually have a kind of like a calendar that I go by, and it's usually a time and day, and sometimes I won't do anything. I'll just get massages and really just kind of like meditate, get myself together, and then I'll get into the work. You know, it's really about a feeling place for me. So I'll create a list of I'll prioritize a list, and those things I'll just, you know, just minimize through that.
Yeah.
But the creative process is always there. You know, it's always there.
And so I know ayahuasca was big to open that veil. What do you use now to kind of connect into there?
I mean, the mushrooms are really nice, especially in Bali. You know, we were just in Kintamani, overlooking Lagoon, and that was an amazing feeling trip.
Giving you inspiration for what's to come.
Yeah, yeah. It was more or less. It wasn't too much of an insight. It was more or less of a feeling place that I needed to be in. A sense of ease and placement. Because when we get too far, like you said, into your head, that's when things get scrambled. Rather than getting into the feeling place first, and then you'll realize, what you need to know is how you need to feel. And that's important.
I think people think we're chasing a thing, but in reality, it's a feeling.
It's euphoria.
It's
Yeah.
just, and once you tap into
Been
true
chasing
bliss,
Nirvana.
yeah, but it's really only attainable from within.
Yeah.
It's not outside of you. I think people keep coming to energy healings thinking that someone's gonna miraculously make them not broken, and I'm like, my God, I'm not here to heal you. I am actually doing nothing,
waking you up,
but holding space for you to heal you, to wake up.
Exactly.
I'm just, and again, it's like I'm just gonna become the light so that you can choose. Do you want to meet me here?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge either way.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Bali. It has so many nature, so much healing places for that. And I realized back in the States, leaving Bali, I feel grounded. Going back to the States, it's just electricity on your feet. It's like, I gotta go. And it's like that everywhere you go. And it's...
Because I think the whole US is in their heads. Like it's not a place where it's safe to really be creative, because we've been programmed that you work 40 hours a week plus, and you grind, and then you got to get to the gym, and it's not like
and even if you are in that creative space, you're in competition. It's like, all right, he's doing this, I got to do this. Like, you're not on your own frequency. It becomes like a crowded space of just stagnant electricity.
And that's a beautiful thing. So talking about competition, there's no one you're competing with either, right? Because there's no point.
Mine is time. Not even time, because time is forever. Mine is just completion. My competition is myself, my vices, my routines, my habits.
What are the ones that get in the way?
It's like we know, but yet we gotta stay grounded and stay in between. We gotta tap into the dark to the light to really build that bridge and be present
and admit that we're both bad and good. Like,
hey,
I think
that's the alchemy of life.
We gotta stop running from I am bad. I think if the whole world wasn't so programmed and shaming themselves for having intrusive thoughts. We all have them.
Yeah.
We all want to indulge more than we should. Yeah. We all can be a little bit greedy. Yeah, we all can be selfish, but we can also be selfless.
Exactly.
We can be powerful. We can be anything.
Yeah.
But if we're running from one thing, like, I don't want to be bad, I don't want to.
Yeah, you got to have that balance.
You got to be like, what?
You can't be overstimulated in one thing, because then you're
bad.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. How you going to transmit that into, a service or your purpose, or create that experience for yourself. You don't want to burn yourself to the hole, And I found myself these past couple of days, I sat back and I was just like, I have essential oils, I was doing meditation, guided meditation. I was tapping into, Kundalini experiences, because like I'm a healer as well. Like, I literally have like powers. I feel it coming from my hands, especially from that ayah and that trip, And people around me, when I practice on them, they give me this feedback. And of course, in the art and things like that, it kind of just accumulates and becomes electric, to where I find myself, it's like you said, good and evil, or dark and white and black and white. Like, when I practice these, divine and these holistic approaches and these practices, the dark, like the liquor, the nightlife, it becomes much easier, and this comes more harder, so it's a challenge.
It's such a challenge.
It's
I actually stopped drinking.
It's like temptation.
I stopped drinking because, not forever, but because when I drink alcohol, it is so much harder for me to connect.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It takes me about a week and a half to get to the... Now, if I'm not drinking and I'm getting enough sun and sleep and doing all the good...
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but to me, like, I want to really be creating from the divine.
Yeah.
I want to be holding space
Yeah,
from the divine. And in that liquor, it does. I hate
and
that
this
it
is
does.
something we all know. This is something that we all know. You know, we know that the spirits is
Yet we
the
keep
spirit of
doing it.
alcohol, and it's it's the temptation. You know, it's something that we fight every day, and it's the balance of life. And you know how, like I said before, how will we transmit that into our experience? All right, so I'm gonna create a party, but I'm gonna create a fashion collection that's gonna wake you up. You know, so it's like I'm merging the two in together, hoping that light will overcome that darkness and
That people are there more for the awakening than they are for the
Yes.
party.
Yeah.
But they're both there.
They're both there, but some experiences are truly holistic. Some of my collections, I would literally host like a sober party and just have fashion shows and like tea, you know, just it's just a really holistic ceremony to where people can actually really understand the message and feel it. And those are what I see the future of the Forever Lavi brand, doing these more holistic approaches, especially as I diverge into the book. And when I do this release, I plan on doing a tour and doing these things
So epic.
and kind of like interpreting this vision and the accolades and the message within these journeys and
You
these
gotta
chapters.
be really fucking proud of yourself.
Ah man, it's I wouldn't say proud, but it's just like once it's complete, I'll feel. I mean, I'm much in gratitude. You know, I feel extremely blessed. You know, I'm favored and blessed, 100%. And I got to the point where I'm past the ego part, to where I'm in service. Like I only want to inspire and bring forth my experiences to the world, and to work in collaboration and a synergy to create this lighter, you know, this light more brighter.
I love
You
it.
know, so I feel like once we pass that ego part and that accolade, you know, we all have goals that to be proud of and things that you have to accomplish to feel proud, you know, and once you surpass that, it's like, okay, I got what I needed, I feel fulfilled. Let's you know, we can't do this alone.
Yeah, of course. How many tickets are you selling for this event?
Most likely will be a limited event. You know, I definitely want quality over quantity. I don't want a huge crowd of just, you know, just anyone. We have maybe a guest list of about 250.
Beautiful.
Yes.
It's guest list, not purchase tickets. People
We
can't
have
purchase tickets.
we have tickets, and we have open bar and a buffet that will be available, and runway seating you can pay for. But yeah, limited guest list. Everyone's invited.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to
Oh
go.
my God. We have incredible lineup. We have performers. We have harp players. You know, I'm trying to bring a horse on stage. We'll see. You know, so we
I can't
have
wait.
incredible art displays. We're bringing in an art gallery. You know, we're gonna have a whole experience. This is literally a Lavi production, and everything that, you know, we're bringing around the world to here.
It's so cool.
Yes.
So for anybody that's watching this is coming up September 21st. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, the road to Galante. Not only the 21st, but it starts today.
I love that. If you could give somebody that is struggling right now with finding their purpose and finding their art or showcasing it, you know, if you could go back to the stages before rebirth, what would you give advice to a younger you about sharing their purpose and sharing their art?
Yeah, I mean, besides going to a Lavi show, yeah, seek inspiration, you know. Take that time that you have alone to really just funnel in that true calling. Take what makes you feel that gold, euphoric rush, and hone in on that, you know, because that's what's going to take you to that next level, that threshold, that breakthrough. That's what's calling you. You know, if you ignore it, you might still feel the same. You know, just find a way to channel those energies. You know, tell your story, write a book, write it down. You know, if you're feeling, or if you're going through a hard time, somebody else could resonate with that. And that might be your purpose, to help others get through what you're going through. So get through it and, do it proud, and life goes on. Life is forever. So whatever you're going through now is just a moment in time.
I love that. And what would you say your purpose is here
In this particular moment,
in this moment?
oh man, just connecting with you. I mean, we've done many breath works, and you've really tapped into me and give me chills. You're an incredible, energetic, being that resonates. You don't more or less like take, but you connect and empower. And that's where I find myself and with those around me. I want to just be a light in the dark. I want to be the heat when you're cold. I want to be that inspiration when it's not there. I would just want to show that whatever you're going through in life, transmit it into that story that you have. It's about the impact you put on the world. You could be the richest person and, die next week. Nobody will really notice. But if you actually made an impact to 100 people, that's something that's going to last forever. It's going to resonate. So just be an impact to the world, give light, and, share your truths.
Well, I gotta say, you've definitely inspired me to be more creative.
Oh, yes. Let's
and
do
less
it.
do, a little more
Whew.
receive. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I cannot wait to be at the show, and I will definitely showcase all of it all over YouTube, guys. So
Amazing.
stay tuned. We'll
Thank
follow
you.
the journey before and after.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love.
Whoa, guys, what an initiation we've just walked through together. Lavi's journey reminds us that creativity is not separate from spirit. It is spirit in motion. So from ayahuasca visions to tangible garments, he has shown us how downloads can be alchemized into art and how fashion can carry the energy of awakening itself. Let's revisit a few of the gems that he gifted with us today. Number 1, the courage to listen to spiritual downloads and bring them into form. Number 2, how creation energy flows through us when we surrender to our awakening. And number 3, why fashion, when born from spirit, becomes a living ceremony that we can all participate in. If you're in Bali this weekend, his show Road to Galante is more than just a runway experience. It's an initiation, an embodied prayer, and an invitation to witness awakening through fabric, form, and fire. So, thanks for tuning in and sharing your energy with us. If his story lit something inside your soul, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast so we can keep connecting with all of the souls out there like you. And until next time, remember, your creativity is sacred and your body is your canvas and your awakening is your masterpiece. And may you always, always, always liberate your bliss.